Alright, so welcome to this tutorial. This is the walkthrough of the BBCSO Pro template for Reaper. If you're new to Reaper and haven't checked it out already, I highly recommend checking out SVS extensions and Repack. If you don't know what it is, I can show you right here, svsextensions.org and Repack. It adds additional functionality to Reaper, which I think is essential and also helps you out to do the stuff that I do inside Reaper. So with that out of the way, let's dive into the template. So at the beginning, this is what you will see. Actually, I think you will see either this, or this, or this. I haven't really decided yet. It doesn't really matter. For me personally, I like to do it like this. So I can see what section, and then what instrument, and then you can scroll through. But there's a even easier way to do this, which is with track tags. So if you take Alt D, you can toggle the dockers, which also is very handy. You can see that track tags over here has the potential to filter your tracks. So for instance, woodwinds, or brass, or percussion, or keys, or strings. Now let's say we are working with woodwinds. I can see everything here, but I might just want to see the flutes. Then I can see all the flutes, just the piccolos. I can also search for stuff wherever in the template with track tags. So if you know shorthand scripting for orchestrations, you can go clarinets, you can find that, flutes, etc., etc. So, and I also added the shorthand to the track tags themselves and in the names itself, so you can find it and get faster searching. So that's the main benefit with Reaper. It's almost like a database, Dove, and everything in between. So it's a very fast workspace. So yeah, let's dive into piccolos, for instance. Let's enable this. So I'm just going to press a key command, and it's going to take a while because at the beginning it takes a while to load one instance of BBCSO. After that it goes faster. So there you have the legatos. When it comes to legatos, it's just single instance, but if you have multiple articulations within it, like the shorts, if I enable that, it will take a couple of seconds. There we go. Let's go over here. You will see that you can have another thing going, which is rearticulate. Rearticulate actually switches your articulations outside of your plugin. So if you were to check staccatissimo, tenuto, marcato, etc., etc., you can do it like that. So recording the piccolo, easy. That sounded really bad, of course, because we were on the marcato. But if we were to say that we want staccatissimo here, and we are actually in the piccolo. Let's see. There we go, staccatissimo. So it's already done. You fixed your thing, and then you can have a tenuto on the end. So if you feel like you're done and you really didn't want those, you can just disable it again. So how I enable and disable is with a custom key command and custom script that I did. I will show it to you straight away, which is in actions, show action list. And here's where all the key commands live and all your actions live. So let's say I try to find my shortcut, which is toggle online, offline, bypass all effects while locking track controls, which is a mouthful, but if we were to open the, you can see that it's a cycle action. And if we go to cycle action, I can show what I actually did. So here's how it is inside. So what I do is I bypass effects on the selected tracks. Then I lock the track controls, which makes it grayed out. Then you clear automatic record arm, which is good because then you don't accidentally have it playing at the same time or something like that. Then you can set all effects offline, which renders it out of memory and stuff like that. So it's a light session. Then you have it as a step. So you basically toggle between these. So if you have it on one, you do this, and then if you do it on the second time, you unlock the tracks, you unbypass, and then you set the effects online, and then automatically set it on record arm. Because if you don't set it on record arm, you will have to then press record, which in and of itself isn't that bad, but I will show you an example of why I think it's better to do it here rather than clicking an extra time or setting all tracks to record enable automatically. So if I were to make a new session, and then let's make, I don't know, a lot of tracks, and then duplicate that and duplicate that, and then I set all of these to record arm. Now you see that if I were to collapse all the folders, it cycles through every single track, which isn't that bad if you don't have a lot of tracks, but if you have a lot of tracks, it cycles through everything. And that is essentially really bad when it comes to single instance, single articulations, because then you're up to 16 per instrument at least. I generally like to do it so that I don't have it like that, because if I do it, I'm going to select all the tracks and then automatically record arm. Now, if I collapse with my custom command, you see that it was much faster. And that is essentially the key. You want it as fast as possible. All right, so now I'm going to show you how I collapse the tracks, which is when I have everything, I can collapse it instantly. I can make it so that I only see the headers and then the subfolders, or I can see everything all at once, which is 3 different types of scripts, but trust me, they are not that hard. So you have here, in the cycle actions, which I showed you earlier, you have collapse all folder start tracks. That is the collapse everything. That is select all folder start tracks, and then you select only the children. Then you toggle the visibility of them, so you're hiding them from the TCP, which is the track control panel again. And then you select the parents back again, so you're making it toggleable that way. Now, if you were to say toggle collapse all folder tracks except start folder tracks, you will just do it on the parent of the articulation or the instrument. So if you want to show all the tracks afterwards, let's say you have collapsed everything, or you have collapsed it this way, and then you might have done something where you're kind of off, you don't really know what it is, you can show all tracks. And how you show all tracks, it's a regular action, and it's by my shortcut number 7, and it's SVS show all tracks. Now you see here it's kind of off, you don't see the folder parent, but if I press 7, everything is back to normal. You can see everything that you should be seeing. Go back to 8, 9, and then etc, etc. Let's say, for instance, we go to strings. We have the strings right here. You can see everything. I would like to only have the leaders. Now, I could click these and have it quite fast, but as I showed you earlier, I can do select all the tracks that are visible right now, then create new tags from track selection instead, and then I can say first shares, for instance, and then go strings as well, just to be fancy. So instead of clicking 4 times, you get it 1 time, and then I would like to see the strings effects at the same time. So this is where it becomes really handy. Same goes with searching again. If you want to see all the effects in the TCP, which is the track control panel, directly, you can search for effects, and then you get every effects in the folder. But another thing that you can, so you can say effects 1, or you can say reverb, Then you get the reverbs. So yeah. Now the next thing I would like to show you guys is markers and regions. So you have here, you have pre-roll, you have a count-in, and then you have a cue start. And you can add as many markers you would like. So I'm just gonna snap. Let's say we have on, and I'm going to renumber in timeline. So let's say we have a hit point, and then we can have another hit point, and then end slate. So I can search for hit and get every hit with this in mind. So I can do hit related stuff really fast without having to go through a list of markers. Same goes with maybe some other type of interesting idea that you have, like maybe logo reveal. And you can have logo reveals and stuff like that. So this is also really powerful. Now, it's not just markers, you can do regions as well. And regions are just a section, it's a container basically. Now, regions act more powerful than just a marker because regions have additional control, which is now the fun part of using Reaper, is when we want to export something. Let's say you have the rendering here. Let's say you go to the desktop and I have example cues. And you say that you have your region, your parent track, and then your track. What this will do is that if you have a region, it will populate a folder called of that region that you have selected, then put the parent track, and then put the track. So let's do 2. So now I'm rendering one file. Let's say I want to render all of these. And that would be either the oboes as a stem or the oboe separately. Because you can get oboes like the single one or the A3 version. So that means that you get as a clarinet or clarinets separately or baked in. So yeah, it's self-explanatory. So let's render these files. You have woodwind effect, oboes, flutes, coranglays, clarinets, bassoons. Now these are the stems and these are the individual sections. You can do multiple fancier stuff than I do, which is if you go to here, you can actually do parent track and then make a slash again, and then you separate it by parent track again. Again, entirely up to you. Now, if I would like to have it a little bit differently when it comes to Reaper, what I like to use is the Smooth 6 one. And I made a minor tweak to mine, but it's basically looks like this. Now this is more pleasing to the eye for me. I feel like this is more appropriate. And if I were to expand all the tracks, you can see everything. And then you get it as a small version. And then I can open up that folder, this folder, this folder, etc., etc. And being able to write really, really fast. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you find it useful. Looking forward to see what you guys can come up with it. All right, cheers.